I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
Newly surfaced footage from Gervonta Davis's secret training camp reveals the champ going toe-to-toe with massive sparring partners, each built like heavyweights, as he sharpens his power ahead of the highly anticipated clash with Jake Paul.
Stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The leaked clips show Tank fearlessly trading heavy shots with taller, stronger opponents, sending a clear message that size means nothing to him. Inside sources say his camp designed these brutal sessions to harden his resolve and silence the critics who question his power against bigger men.
Wake up. Don't do it to him. Put it on his ass.
Gervonta Davis has been seen facing off against much larger sparring partners, exchanging blows with heavyweights known for their knockout power to refine his timing and raw strength. These fierce sessions highlight his fearless mindset as he steps far beyond his weight class to challenge men who outweigh him by huge margins just to prove a point. Jake Paul has built his name on picking battles that ignite headlines and divide fans. Nothing he does is random. Each opponent is carefully selected to tilt the odds in his favor, while still keeping the outcome uncertain. Whether it's a mismatch in weight skill or fighting style, Jake crafts every showdown to create the perfect mix of control and chaos. That fine balance between calculation and danger is what keeps audiences hooked. Viewers know he's strategic, yet can't ignore the risk of facing unpredictable warriors. Every fight turns into a high-stakes story, one that blurs the line between advantage and vulnerability the moment the bell rings.
Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and they're about to fight. It just feels like Jake Paul is always picking fights where he has a massive advantage. Like now he's fighting Gervonta Davis, who's, I don't know how much smaller, but probably close to like 80 pounds smaller, which is a crazy, significant weight advantage for Jake Paul. Now, you have to also look at the other way. Gervonta has a crazy advantage over Jake Paul. He has incredible amount of skill, more years of training. For sure, pound for pound, he would mop the floor with Jake Paul. But this is what makes the fight exciting. And two guys fighting, and we don't know who's going to win. Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. Somebody's about to say go, and these guys got to go at it. So that's what makes a fight exciting. And so this is kind of that. Because if they were the same weight, none of us would tune in. We'd be like, this is just a punching bag for Gervonta. It doesn't make the fight exciting. But because Jake Paul is so big, so much bigger, it makes the fight exciting.
Promoter Eddie Hearn has voiced concern that the upcoming showdown between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul may be crossing into dangerous territory. He insists that boxing's true spirit lies in pure competition, not in spectacles built for hype and clicks. To him, this matchup feels more like a staged attraction than a genuine sporting test. The difference in their natural size exposes the imbalance. Jake's frame carries more power, while Gervonta comes from lighter classes defined by speed and precision. Hearn cautions that when boxing drifts too far into showmanship, it risks losing its soul as a disciplined craft. He views this fight less as a contest of skill and more as a money-driven production, one that could chip away at the legacy earned through decades of sweat, sacrifice, and respect.
They said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but, you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the beginning?
Yeah, no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, like, you know, we're not going to wait around till November. Is it November or December, whenever it is, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Former champion Paulie Malignaggi offers a grounded take on the spectacle. He reminds fans not to confuse this event with a traditional boxing match. It's entertainment. Plain and simple. Malignaggi highlights that there's no official betting, no ranking implications, and no real career risk for either man. To him, this fight feels more like a modern exhibition built to thrill audiences rather than define legacy. He urges viewers to enjoy the show for what it is, not expect a classic test of skill. His perspective echoes the frustration of purists, who see the sport shifting from discipline to drama. Yet his honesty also reflects today's reality. Boxing's business side has evolved into a world where personality and hype often outweigh belts and achievements.
When I watch it, I don't. I just think he's fighting opponents that, you know, are not with it anymore or are too small for him and whatnot. But in this situation, it is an exhibition. So you've got to keep in mind that this could be set up. This could be like WWE. This one could be set up. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but this is not a sanctioned fight, champ. This is an exhibition. And an exhibition means you cannot bet on it. You cannot bet on the result. If you remember, this is why they changed the Mike Tyson fight from an exhibition to a real fight, because they realized, you know, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a...
Wade Plemons from the Wade Concept calls Jake Paul a master manipulator who wields fame and ego like strategic weapons. Jake doesn't rely solely on his punches. He controls the mental battlefield. He builds tension, sparks reactions, and transforms rivalries into viral spectacles. According to Wade, Jake skillfully drew Gervonta Davis into this match, abusing attention, money, and the allure of massive exposure. In simple terms, he made the offer attempting to refuse. Jake's sharp blend of confidence and marketing instinct turns every bout into a worldwide headline. For him, victory isn't just about what happens inside the ropes, it's about owning the story long before and long after the first bell.
Mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing, Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. You know, that's a lot of weight, Carl. You know, you've been in a boxing ring, that still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, the gloves are small. Jake could also hurt Gervonta because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him, you know? So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got an advantage? I don't know. You know, technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show. And that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
Amid all the hype and chaos surrounding this event, Gervonta Davis is treating it like a mission. Sources inside his camp describe him as laser-focused, disciplined, and locked into an intense training rhythm. His sparring partners have been noticeably bigger, a clear sign. He's embracing the physical challenge head-on. Reporters at press events note his calm posture and unshakable focus unmoved. by the circus around him. For Davis, this isn't about fame or headlines. It's about proving that precision and skill can conquer size and spectacle. This fight carries a personal weight for him, a chance to defend boxing's technical heart, in a battle designed to push him to his limits both mentally and physically.
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been the case, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do it.
The boxing world is split right down the middle over this matchup. To some, it's a stain on the sport's integrity. To others, it's a bold step toward modernizing boxing and capturing a new generation of fans. Supporters of Gervonta Davis see this as his moment to expose the gap between a true craftsman and a social media showman. Jake's followers, on the other hand, believe he's redefining the game, bringing mainstream attention back to a sport long struggling to engage the youth. The debate has become a clash between tradition and evolution, those who see boxing as a sacred art, and those who embrace it as global entertainment. Yet one thing is undeniable: once again, Jake Paul has done what he does best: make the entire world talk about him.
In the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff.
The result of this fight could shape the future of boxing itself. If Jake Paul emerges victorious, the sport might shift toward a new era, one where fame outweighs rankings and influence overshadows legacy. Such events would draw massive attention, but risk pushing real champions out of focus. Yet, if Gervonta Davis wins decisively, it could reignite faith in traditional boxing, proving that mastery and experience still triumph over marketing. This bout is more than two men trading punches. It's a statement about what kind of boxing the world now values: the art of skill and discipline, or the thrill of spectacle and chaos. Despite the criticism millions are tuning in, traditional boxing has been accused of growing stale, while Jake Paul's fights are anything but fast. unpredictable and impossible to ignore. He bends the rules, creates viral moments, and turns every punch into a question mark. Love him or hate him, fans can't look away. The chaos he brings into the ring isn't just entertainment, it's a force that keeps audiences locked in, even those who swear they've stopped caring.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash, I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean, that's against the game. Like, you know what I mean, you at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean, you owe the rematch to Lamont for the game, but you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors, and all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said
retirement.
The retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing. They're around. They're around. It's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Dark skin boy. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is this business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this?
The showdown between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul questions what people now call real boxing. It doesn't follow the traditional path of rankings, title defenses, or championship climbs. Instead, it lives in the gray area between competition and entertainment. Purists argue that matchups like this weaken the sport's credibility, while others believe they're keeping it alive in the age of viral fame. What makes this fight unusual is that both men are still in their prime. Exhibitions are usually reserved for legends long past their peak. Here, the active fighters are blurring the boundaries between athletic contest and global show. This battle is more than strength and skill, it's about identity. Gervonta embodies the old-school fighter, built through years of discipline and sacrifice, while Jake represents the modern showman who turned charisma into empire. Both paths hold power, but only one can shape boxing's next era. If Davis triumphs, it could remind the world why pure skill still defines greatness.
The purists hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sent me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with the shoulder. Effective, but you don't see it.
Fights like this with fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight, and those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser, because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather.
That wraps up today's breakdown of the upcoming clash between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. The stage is set, the world is watching, and the countdown has begun. Who will rise and who will be exposed? Time will tell. Until next time, stay tuned right here on the Top Boxing for every punch, every headline, and every moment that defines the fight game.